Like we always mention that Apostle Rakah, he's a very big proponent on prayer. And any of you brothers that's been around him, he's always pushing prayer, 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 prayer. You know, we leave the house, get in the car, set up a prayer for the Lord to protect us from these maniac drivers, accidents, you know, from the cops, you know, so on and so forth. From any altercations, let us get home, you know, do what we have to do and get back home safely, so on and so forth. You know, because these demons are really turned up, you know, and the demons, you know, function mainly through other people, inhabiting other people's bodies. You know, just like you have a spirit comes on the earth and a body is formed for it when the man and the woman gets together and the man shoots a sperm into the woman's, you know, vagina, and the baby goes through the, you know, through the channels, gets to the womb, and then that body becomes the clothes of that particular spirit. You know, because spirits, you know, are on earth and in the heavens, but spirits need bodies. You know, that's why when you die, your spirit leaves that body goes into the earth, and then that spirit goes directly to the heavens, into the celestial body that is prepared for it up in the heavens. You know, so what happens is these demons come down here and possess people and cause them to do and wreak havoc. And that's why you see the things going on today the way they're going on, because those spirits are turned up. You know, that's why it says be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, seeketh whom he may devour. You know, and that's why them demons inhabit these people, cause them and provoke them to do certain shit, to fuck with other people. Then when all hell breaks loose or something happens, then that demon leaves them, and they're like in a state of shock, like, what the fuck, you know, like, why the fuck was I doing? Where? Because them demons were inhabiting you. And these people are here so fucking polluted that them demons have a field day in that polluted body. You know, like the example of Legion. He had many demons that were inhabiting his body, you know. And what did they, you know, Yahushua was about to cast them out of him, and they were like, they needed a warm body to go into. So what did they do? They went right into the swine. You know, they asked if they could go into the swine. And then when they went into the swine, even the swine had sense enough to know that something was wrong, that they had demons on them, and they ran down the hill violently and then went into the water and drowned themselves. And them demons was gone off of them, you know? So these demons need a hot host, you know, to inhabit, you know? And that's whenever you see, like in the scriptures, you know, when people are possessed, those are demons that are in them to possess them, whether of sickness or some type of, you know, medical terminology that Esau gives it today, you know, retarded or autism or whatever the case may be. It's all spirits, you know, that are inhabiting these bodies and causing and wreaking all this type of havoc to happen. You know, the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington shows you that how the demon jumps from host to host, you know, to cause all types of mischief. And then once the demon leaves, the individual doesn't understand why they were doing what they were doing. You know, so these demons out here are real. These spirits out here are real. You know, they're turned up. You know, and that's why they're causing the shit that they're causing. At the camp Friday, you know, this past Friday in Indianapolis, you know, we were talking about how the angels, you know, which are also spirits, they're around. So spirits are real, whether they're righteous spirits or wicked spirits. They're real. The angels are there, you know, all around, you know, protecting the elect and serving out judgment to the wicked out there. You know, whether they're wicked Israelites or wicked heathens or whatever the case may be. You know, the situation that's over there right now in the land of Israel, between the Israeli and the Palestinians, those are demons turned up over there, because the Lord is causing that to happen. You know, remember, the Lord said that the angels of the Lord are bound around the great river Euphrates, you know, and then the Lord said, there's going to come a time when the Lord is going to withdraw the angels and allow all hell to break loose to finally finish fulfilling, one of the final prophecies, which would be World War III, but not before the MOTB, So, these spirits are real. They're real out here. But the problem is, most people don't believe it because they can't see it, And if they can't see it, that means they can't perceive it. So if they can't perceive it, then they won't believe it. And I wasn't trying to drop a hot bar or nothing like that. It was just the way it came out, But yeah, so these spirits are turned up out here. Demons are real. Angels are real. Spirits are real. And they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're turning shit up. So as we progress in the truth, as we, move about in our day-to-day lives, we have to be very aware and vigilant of these things, to, avoid being in certain areas. If you necessarily have to go there, go get what you got to get and get the fuck out, I mean, like a particular store. If you have to go to a Walmart and there's a hood Walmart down the street, and that there's a Walmart where Esau frequents, and it's 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away, guess what? Take the extra drive to go over there to avoid that place as much as possible. Because what you have to understand is that the demons in them see the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in us, and it gets activated. Just like whenever Yahushai would walk by, them demons would be like, son of David, have you come to torment us before the time? We know who you are. You're the son of the Most High, the son of David. And Yahushai would say, shut the hell up. Shut your goddamn mouth, because he has authority over them, So they get activated. Especially when you have a positive spirit in the midst of a bunch of negative spirits. You got to understand that these people, they look like humans, they are humans, but the spirit that's in them is an evil spirit, that cannot be near positivity. Otherwise, a great Jacob and Esau struggle, will begin to occur or happen, because that's just the way the Lord created it. Positive spirits and negative spirits do not mesh on the earth. Now they mesh in the heavens because the Lord created both and he has them in order. That's why Yahweh said, let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. But as far as, on the earth here, this earth is under a total wicked vibration. So if you're trying to live positive, you're going to make yourself a prey, and we're going to make ourselves targets to these negative spirits out here that are trying to, destroy us, that are trying to provoke us, So to avoid that, we avoid being in those areas or around these people, that are like that. Afternoon, just to, avoid all of that bullshit, because these demons are turned up, Scriptures say, redeeming the time, for the days are evil. So if we have to redeem the time because the days are evil, that means that we have to be circumspect. We have to be watching. We have to see what's going on. And we have to understand what's going on. And the more situations you're involved in, the greater the experience you have. You cannot expect to understand what we speak about sometimes if you've never experienced these things. This is not a thing of you read it in a book and all of a sudden you're an expert. Yeah, you may be an expert in reading it and bringing it out and talking about it, because of what you read. But you've never actually experienced that. So if you never experienced that, you won't really know what to look for. But when, you are constantly going through that and seeing it and seeing situations playing out on the earth, with these spirits and these demons and how they act and react, then you become more experienced. You know what to look for, you know what to look out for, you know what to avoid, because you know that if you put yourself in that situation, there's going to be nothing more than a cluster of demons awaiting to pounce on you when you go in that area. Because the negative spirits, will always attack the positive spirits as long as we're on the earth. As long as the earth is still being ruled in this negative light of wickedness. So, be circumspect. Cast your burdens upon the Lord. Always pray, like Elder Apostle Gabar said, pray before you leave your house. Yes, always. Apostle Rakai, he says his prayers in the morning. Then we get in the car, he has either himself or one of us say a prayer of protection that we may get to and from where we got to go safely, So keep that in practice, because that is a part of our power. That is a part of, the mechanism of refuge, the mechanism of protection. We have to keep ourselves surrounded by the positive vibes of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, because when we come out here, especially out in the world, we are surrounded by nothing but goddamn demons. They look like humans, but they're nothing more than predators. They're nothing more than demons. They're nothing more than evil spirits. Because these fucking assholes out here they're infested with goddamn demons. So you have to, be circumspect and avoid these situations. And if you find yourself in that situation, for whatever reason, pray to the Lord, that he protects and guides you from these demonic spirits out here. Because they're out here and they're real. If you don't believe that, then, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you might be a demon if you don't believe that.